the federal government just securing approval, from the National Assembly to raise up to $500 million sukuk, in the international market, for the development of Nigerian projects and the like. So all of this combined with what we are seeing in the growth of halal mutual funds tells us that 2026 is going to be a very, very important year for the growth of Islamic finance in the capital market. And we are quite excited, and we think we're going to be a part of it as well.
With the non-interest capital market now valued at over 1.6 trillion naira, questions around scale, innovation, access, and investor participation have become more critical than ever. What are the real prospects for deepening non-interest finance investments in 2026? Hello and welcome to Islamic Finance Weekly. I am Rahma Say Muhammad. How can ethical investment products attract more retail participation, and what role would technology play in expanding access and awareness? Speaking on the show today is Dr. Akeem Oyewale, Chief Executive Officer of Marble Capital Ltd, a leading non-interest finance and ethical-based investment company and fund manager. Dr. Akeem speaks on how investment companies like Marble Capital are deepening product offerings for ethical investors in the country. So as a leading non-interest finance and ethical-based investment company and fund manager, how will you describe the evolution of the non-interest finance market in Nigeria?
Thank you very much for having me today. I think from our experience and from what we've seen in the market, the non-interest capital market has actually evolved quite well, starting from, the pioneering efforts of Lotus Capital, and also the first sukuk that was raised in Nigeria, which was the Osun State sukuk, and the sovereign sukuk that came afterwards, and the license of companies like Marble Capital, 117 Capital. We've actually seen a lot of awareness being created in the non-interest capital market space. Like I said, Lotus Capital were the leaders, but the regulators actually came on board and they were able to come up with regulations, and that's facilitated the growth of new players like ourselves. We've also seen that a very deliberate action that was taken by the regulators in 2015 during the creation of the master plan, the 10-year master plan for the capital market, had us embed non-interest capital markets as a key part, of the capital market growth plan in Nigeria. And that actually fueled a lot of interest in the market. We saw a lot of capacity development being done, a lot of trainings, a lot of webinars being conducted, and all of those contributed towards increasing the awareness of capital market. But what I think actually assisted the growth, apart from the sovereign issuance of the sukuk, has been the approval of non-interest or Sharia compliant mutual funds. Okay, the SEC was deliberate in approving collective investment schemes that were tailored towards the Islamic faith or Sharia compliance, and that has led to an increase in the evolution of the non-interest capital markets, and we've been proud of that. We think there's still room for growth, but we're happy for where we are right now.
Dr. Akeem speaks on how investment companies like Marble Capital are deepening product offerings for ethical investors in the country. Yeah, thank you so much, Akeem, for that. So let's talk about, Marble Capital as an investment company and, fund management company. How are capital market companies attracting more ethical-minded retail investors to the sector?
I think two major ways. The first is through awareness creation. A number of us, I would say, have been involved in creating awareness, either through media activities, but more importantly, I would say largely through showing people the benefits of investing in alternative asset class in the NICP world. What I mean by that is we've seen a number of instruments that are strictly Sharia compliant, that have been issued in the capital markets in the last couple of years. And investors have seen that this is real. For example, the Osun State sukuk matured, and it was paid down. We also had the first FGN sukuk mature last year as well. It was also fully paid down. We've seen a number of capital market instruments, NICPs or short-term sukuk issuances in the corporate that have been paid down upon maturity. Now, like people say, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. We've seen people actually getting their money back, getting the returns they were promised, but more importantly, seeing those assets that we promise will be created, being created. For example, if you go to most places in Nigeria today, across the 6 geopolitical zones, you will see one road or the other being built by one of the Sukuk issuances. You see Sukuk 1, go to Marina, you see Sukuk 5, go to Second Niger Bridge, you see a Sukuk being financing that bridge. Go to most places in the north, the highways, and the quality of these constructions have been quite impressive. So that has been one of the major ways that Nigerians have been introduced into the impact, of capital markets financing using Islamic finance. And it's really been something good. People are always proud of it. Yeah.
He also touches on the use of technology, how non-interest finance and ethical-based investment companies are creating more access to the market. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. So let's talk about technology. How are non-interest finance and ethical-based investment companies creating more access to the market and improving awareness using technology?
Okay, I think that is an area we have not done well enough, and I think we can do a lot better. Just like was said at the conference, SEC had issued robo-advisory licenses, way back 4 or 5 years, and we've not seen it being adopted as they should be. Yes, we have 1 or 2 companies that have taken advantage of the license, but they've not really been able to impact the market. However, we've seen fintechs, that have been leveraging on using technology to get to the market, and they are layering some of the Islamic finance products. For example, Marble Capital, we've got 2 major funds, Marble Allah Commodities Fund, Marble Allah Fixed Income Fund. And we have these funds on the platform of some of the major fintechs, in Nigeria, like Cowrywise. They have our commodities fund listed. They have our Allah Fixed Income listed. We have a number of capital market operators as well that are already coming to us to partner with us so that they can have access to these instruments and share it. But like I said at the beginning, I still think there's a lot more we can do to allow people to use technology to have access to non-interest capital market products.
Overall, the outlook for the non-interest capital market in 2026 is explained by Dr. Akeem Oyewale. Yeah, absolutely. So let's round up this conversation with the outlook. What's your outlook for the non-interest finance markets in 2026?
2026, yeah, I think the outlook is quite bright. What we are seeing, especially what we saw this year, 2025, when we had the Sukuk issuance by the federal government, it was oversubscribed 735%. Now, anywhere in the world, that is massive. What that means is that there's a pent-up demand, for non-interest capital market products. And we think, from what we know, there's a lot of work going on to create new products. Commercial paper issuances are growing that are in alliance and in conformity with Sharia standards. We're also seeing a number of states trying to get into the market to have some Sukuk issuances. We are also seeing as well the federal government just securing approval, from the National Assembly to raise up to $500 million Sukuk, in the international market, for the development of Nigerian projects and the like. So all of this, combined with what we are seeing in the growth of halal mutual funds, tells us that 2026 is going to be a very, very important year for the growth of Islamic finance in the capital market. And we are quite excited, and we think we're going to be a part of it as well. It is clear from our conversation that non-interest finance is no longer a niche segment, but a growing pillar within Nigeria's financial ecosystem, one driven by ethics, innovation, and long-term value creation. As we look ahead to 2026, the opportunities for deepening investments, expanding product offerings, and attracting more ethically minded investors remain significant, particularly with the strategic use of technology and targeted capital market instruments. Many thanks to Dr. Akeem Oyewale, the CEO of Marble Capital Ltd, for sharing such valuable insights on the prospects and future direction of non-interest finance investments in Nigeria. And with that, I say, don't forget to keep updated with us next week on the program. Follow us on all of our social media platforms displayed on the screen. Thank you for watching. And as always, I am Rahma Say Mohammed.